Early last month on Walmart.com, there was a listing for a Transformers Velocitron Deluxe Class Crasher at $24.97. And this kind of gave us a little bit of an indication that we were going to be getting a Wave 2 of the Velocitron Walmart exclusive Transformers line. What this told us more is that they're going to be revisiting one of those classic Gobot characters again in Transformers lore. After many years of kind of, ooh, what are we going to do with this? Name trademarks. Ooh, can we do this color scheme? Let's get into that, shall we? What's happening here, what we got to see today, and everything like that. So who is Crasher for people that are not aware? So many years ago, Transformers and Gobots were rival toy robots on the shelves. Tonka owned Gobots, Hasbro owned Transformers. And on the Tonka Gobot side of things, there was a character named Crasher. Was originally in 1983, was a white Porsche 956 Le Mans. And that was the initial release for that mold and that toy and that white color scheme. This was almost directly importing the Porsche Robo character and design from the Machine Robo line that Gobots was based from in Japan. And as time progressed, the Challenge of the Gobots cartoon came out, and then they re-released the Crasher character in the 1984 assortment for Gobots in the classic black with red and white accents we know today. Still a Porsche 956 Le Mans, but now matches more up with what that animation model looked like a little bit. They still couldn't change the mold, but it was pretty close to that. Gobots came and went, was not very successful, and that was that. And then Hasbro bought Tonka, got a majority of those name trademarks as a result of the buyout, and kind of just did not much with them throughout the years. Now, Crasher was one of those, historical characters in the sense that long before we had RC and Elita 1 and even Nightbird, Crasher was one of the very first female sentient robot characters on American television. And that was kind of like, not a big deal, but, something definitely to, dog ear the page and make a note of. And I guess someone at Hasbro really wanted to pay tribute to that and go back to that Gobots origin. Already we kind of had Hasbro playing with the idea of Gobots being in the Transformers universe as early as the Dreamwave comic books, usually as background characters and stuff that they would just destroy. And then, of course, later on with Bakan and how they like to do the deep cuts within Transformers lore and everything like that, Bugbite became one of the first true Gobots in name, in character, to truly cross over to the Transformers universe, and that whole story opened up. When we had the Classics line in 2006, Joe Kide, who was one of the designers and colorists and color layout guys for the Transformers line, was like, maybe we could do something with this Classics Mirage mold and maybe do an homage to Crasher. And this kind of went back and forth for a few years, primarily because they were worried that, they didn't want to 100% throw back to the original Gobot color scheme because they were worried that, Bandai might, not be happy about that. They might interfere. They might go, hey, you can't do an homage to something that we did back in the day. So it was kind of sketchy. But Joe was able to find a real-life Formula One car just a couple years prior that matched a similar kind of color scheme and could kind of use that as an excuse. Oh, no, it's an homage to this. And that was the Midland team in the 2006 Formula One season. That was driven by Taigo Montetegro. So that was kind of like Joe's backup plan. Oh, if Bandai complains, we could just say, oh, no, it's the Midland M16 Formula One car. Don't worry. We're homaging them. And that was that. But the truth of the matter is they were actually homaging Fracture, a.k.a. Crasher. They called her Fracture. They couldn't call it Crasher. Yeah, it was a little dicey. And that was that. And we got that one little homage, that one little thing there with that character, female character. They couldn't put it in the Classics line. They needed filler for the movie line because The movie line was doing fantastically well, so they wanted more movie toys on the shelves with that card back. So the 2008 Fracture toy was released, kind of under a movie toy, but most people who knew that it belonged on your classic shelf, and the rest was history. And that was it. And that was literally, that's the history in a nutshell. Fast forward to today, and not only do we have Crasher in name, no more Fracture, but it even goes a little further in terms of the nice little homages and stuff. So they took the Kingdom Mirage body, specifically the 2-pack Kingdom Mirage that we got that's more Earth-based, I guess we'll call it. So they took that one, but then they took the toy-accurate head sculpt that was found on the Siege version of Mirage from the Fan Vote 3-pack, the Fan Vote Battle Pack 3-pack. That's the clear Mirage. So they took that head and put it on it, and just kind of gave it that Gobots Crasher color scheme as best they could. They put the 01 on the chest, which throws back to the original toy, which had 01 on it, the original Gobot toy. So apparently that skating around the fear of Bandai is, not so much an issue anymore. Maybe because Hasbro has the Power Ranger brand, and they probably have a deal now with Bandai and everything like that, and they probably have some kind of handshake agreement with certain stuff. Maybe because Bandai of America isn't a force in the toy aisle anymore, like it was back in, let's say, 2008 or 2007. So that's also an issue that they don't have to worry about. Either way, it opens up the hope that we could probably get more Gobot stuff. And when we look at this here, I mean, I like what I see. I would have kind of hoped for a brand new head sculpt that was even more accurate to the animation model face. That toy accurate Mirage face is a little rough with the pink on it and everything, but still looks pretty good. Again, I love Formula One cars, so I kind of have a bias. I mean, I would have really liked a Crasher that was more of that Le Mans kind of look. I know that the Power of the Primes Jazz kind of had that flavor going on. Maybe not the sculpt itself for the robot mode, but just the alt mode kind of worked. So I would have really liked if maybe they did something more in tune with that as opposed to Formula One. But I guess it's kind of, it's in the DNA now, in that, well, the past, Crasher, Fracture, homage was a Formula One from a Mirage. So I guess the next Crasher, Fracture, homage should be, using a Mirage mold. And that's where we are today. It looks like it has both of the weapons that come with the Mirage mold from War for Cybertron. So it has the shoulder cannon and the blaster. So looks pretty good. I still like it. Again, I like that it throws back to that Gobot origins. I'm a big Machine Robo and Gobots fan. I even love that. I did a whole panel back in the day at TFCon just all about the history of Machine Robo and Gobots and the difference between the two and all its weird history. Like, there was like a sequel Gobot series only available in France, which took the Machine Robo episodes and repurposed them as a sequel series to Gobots called The Revenge of the Gobots. And it was just, which was really just, again, Japanese Machine Robo episodes using those, they have a very fascinating history that's more than just the rivals of the Transformers brand. And anytime I could see any Gobots or Machine Robo characters cross over to the toy aisle in the Western world with Transformers, I'm always down for it. And I mean, this is pretty cool. I kind of hope that in a lot of ways, this could be a sign of the beginning. Like Mark said, he likes those little micro collections that he could build up and complete. So if we could start a little micro collection of Gobot homages, much like how we have repaints of Diaclone, if we have repaints of, oh, hey, we could do this, we could do that, Japanese stuff. So if we could have little micro collections of Gobot stuff, hey, maybe we could get a Leader One, maybe we could get a Psykill, maybe we could get a Turbo, or my own personal favorite Vanguard, or Fightor. That's another great one. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of those could be done with just a little bit of painting and tooling, and maybe not even tooling, just like really clever paint deco, could be done. But I like it. It's not perfect by any means. In all honesty, I find that the general shape of the robot mode on this one is more in tune with the original Crasher, but I find that the movie classics 2008 one, I think, just did a better job with the overall deco colors. So it's unfortunately there's no happy medium in between right now. But I mean, if that means that the Crasher trademark is now under Hasbro again, if that's something that they're willing to hitch their wagon to, maybe in 4 years we'll get another Crasher figure. And maybe there'll be a mold in those next 4 years that would deem worthy to make it even more sense. Hey, at the end of the day, it's another female character. They want to always inject a female character in a wave. And no better way to do that with a character like Crasher that has that prestige and history as being one of those first female characters of that robot lineage. I mean, maybe it'll open up to others. Maybe, like I said, we have that Cosmos figure. Maybe we might get a Pathfinder one day, another female character. Maybe we'll get Smallfoot from a 4x4. You know, you could retool, you know, I guess, Hoist or Trailbreaker, the Earthrise. Who knows? There's many ways that this could be tackled, but I'm very curious to see what the future is of this as someone who's a big fan of Machine Robo and Gobots. So pretty cool stuff. Let me know what you think, guys. Hopefully we get some more information on this, but it also tells us that there's probably way more in this second wave of Velocitron coming in the future.